Hey guys, this is Kayla Batterton with the Kick-Ass Divorce Recovery Podcast, and this is season 2, episode 2, so that's pretty exciting. Today I want to come to you to talk about a few points that I would like to make, and I think this one's going to easily um, reach across gender and, experience and, you know, yeah. But I think it's going to easily reach across all of the areas, right? And so today, what I wanted to talk to you about is really twofold, right? So the first part is a poem, okay, that I want to read to you, and it's called Invictus. And many of you may have heard of this before. And so I'm going to read it briefly, and then I want to talk about it a little bit, and part of me is still very much an English teacher. And so I can really appreciate glorious writing, but it's called Invictus by William Henley. Out of the night that covers me, black is the pit from pole to pole. I think whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fail clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Now I'm going to tell you that poem speaks to me deeply. It speaks to me deeply because the truth is, I think we all like to believe, right, that we are indeed the master of our own fates. We are the captain of our own soul. And I believe that to be true, right? I believe that to be true on all fronts. And I think where that really starts for me is the fact that people decide what they will accept in their life, right? The amount of money that you make right now is the amount of money that you have accepted. You have decided that that is the okay amount that you are willing to accept, right? The body weight that you are, the pant size that you have, it's where you have decided is okay for you, right? Now, maybe it's not okay. Maybe you're going, no, it's not okay. I hate it, right? But if at the end of the day, you're not actually taking massive action every single day to change that, then you've decided to accept it, right? And I want to talk to you today a little bit about normal, right? So this is one of my sweet spots, if you will. I think I spent a lot of years being normal. And I think on some days I still regress a little bit, right? So please don't take this as me casting judgment, because that is not what is happening here. Okay, this is just food for thought, if you will. But normal has been on my heart a lot, especially as I've been working with women in the divorce industry, men, right? People in general, coaching people, right? Normal is gross. All right, it's gross, like straight up. Normal in the United States right now looks like being broke, being unhealthy, making excuses, blaming, complaining, being a freaking troll on the internet, hating your job, and potentially hating your relationship. Actually, I will argue that that one's pretty high right now. We are in this crazy spot in history right now where single parent households are about to be the majority. And so broken relationships are 100% on the rise, right? And that's normal, right? That's normal. Normal is miserable, right? Normal is scraping by. It's feeling and knowing that you are more, that you are capable of more, that God, Allah, Buddha, the universe, whatever spirit or entity you believe in, put you here for a greater purpose, and yet you accept what you have. You accept normal as okay. Now, the word normal to me means average. It means basic. It means boring. It means mediocrity. And I think when we commit to accepting those things for ourselves, when we commit to accepting mediocre as our best, and let's not play, it's clearly not our best, but when we accept that as our state of existence, we've really shortchanged ourselves, right? And not only have we shortchanged ourselves, but we've shortchanged our children, our families, the people who rely on us to show up and crush it every single day, our coworkers, right? Our churches, our communities, our country, right? In some ways, we're shortchanging society by showing up normal. And I'm going to tell you, I know you're like, how the hell does this have anything to do with divorce? Well, the truth is, when you go through a divorce, whew, that list that I just gave you of normal feels so valid, right? Lots of people find themselves broke and miserable and unhealthy and making excuses and complaining and blaming and hating their job and feeling massively depressed and anxious about the loss of their relationship. And then what do they do to fix it? They go into the next relationship as quickly as possible, right? Or they hit the bottle, or they, do a variety of different things, right? I like to rage clean. That was my thing for a while, right? They do things, right, that don't really move the needle, that don't really move them forward, that keep them stuck in normal, right? I talk to people all the time who say, man, I really need to work out. I really need to work out. But I got to get a gym membership. No, you don't. You don't have to get a gym membership to work out. You don't have to, right? Literally, you can crank up some music and dance your ass off in your living room every single day for 20, 30 minutes. And guess what? That is called a workout. And if you do it long enough and you haven't done it in a while, I promise you, you're going to be sweating, right? If you haven't done a push-up in years and you get down on the floor and you crank one, congratulations. That was your first workout. Tomorrow, you're going to shoot for 2. The next day, we're going for 3. You don't need a gym membership to work out, right? Just like you don't need a relationship to feel whole, right? We like to convince ourselves that we can't accomplish things because we need X, Y, and Z. I need money to work out. No, you don't. You don't even need equipment. Do you have some green bean cans? Because I can whoop your butt with some green bean cans. I'm going to be honest with you. We have to stop settling for normal, basic, mediocre. The people around us, the society we live in, the world deserves our brightest, most badass light to shine. And I'm going to tell you that when we spend all of that time in normal, we're wasting it. We're wasting it. We're wasting it, guys. We're wasting it. How long, how many days do you really think you have left? If you are 33, we'll do me, for example, okay? So I'm 33. And, the world says I will most likely live, I don't want to say the world, the US, right? Our life expectancy, let me find a calculator here, here we go. The life expectancy says I should live to be about 70, 75, right? 75 as a woman, we got like a 5-year advantage, right? So 75 minus 33. That's 42 years I got left, right? That sounds like a lot, right? How many days do you think that is? Let's say 365 and forget leap years. That's only 15,330 days left. Divide that by 7. What's today? Wednesday? That's 2,190 more Wednesdays left in my life. If I die according to the statistics. Now, I don't plan on dying according to the statistics, but I also don't know that next week I could be, killed in a horrible accident or something, right? Like, the reality is we don't know. And too many of us are sitting back, chilling, waiting on life to work itself out. We're waiting on, I don't know. I honestly don't know. And I'm going to tell you, I did the same thing for plenty of years. I waited on life to just show up and be like, hey girl, I got you. We're going this direction. Come on, it's your best life. That's not how it works. Nobody shows up and says, yo, I got you. That's not how it works. I mean, I'll happily show up and say, yo, I got you, right? And you could hit me up in my DMs. say strategy, right? I'll know what it is, right? And we will, I got you. But like generally speaking, that's not a thing, right? Generally speaking, you have to become the master of your fate. You have to take control of your life and you have to decide that normal is not acceptable, right? You have to decide that having, you know, less than $2,000 in your savings account every single month is not acceptable, right? You have to decide that. You have to just, and I'm not saying, you know, whether you got 2,000 or 20,000. Again, not making judgments. I'm saying you got to decide what is acceptable for your life because whatever your acceptable is, that's your normal. And if you can beat that, if you can do better, if you can show up for your family in greater ways, if you can show up for your children in greater ways, if you can be more present, if you can put the phone down and stop scrolling for 10 minutes, you can be better, right? And we don't have to accept normal. Normal people are miserable, okay? And chances are some of you listening to this right now are normal. Some of you going through a divorce or a health crisis or a miserable job that is sucking your soul and you are feeling the normal, right? And I'm going to tell you what normal really is it's accepting that. It's accepting that this is as far as you can go. That's what normal is, right? We live in a country full of opportunities and most of us are convinced we can't work out because we need a gym membership. Guys, I talked to 4 different immigrants last week. Okay, 4 immigrants who have been in the country basically I think the longest one was 15 months. And you know, I've been vacationing a lot, so I've been taking a lot of Ubers and stuff like that. And you know, I had this one conversation with this guy, and he was just like, man, this is the best country. And he was from Honduras. Okay. I don't know if you guys know what's going on in Honduras right now, but it's not good. And he had to leave, right? He had to climb, basically walk through the mountains for 5 days to Colombia to get on an airplane to get into the US. And he had to leave his 2 daughters and his wife there. And he is hustling right now in order to try and get the rest of his family here because it is a bad state right now in Honduras, right? I heard another immigrant speak the other day from Venezuela on ClubHouse. I love ClubHouse, by the way. If you're not on there, you should check it out. It's awesome. Similar story, right? Busting their butt right now to make something of themselves. The guy from Honduras was a lawyer in Honduras. He's not a recognized lawyer here in the States. He can't just pick up where he left off and be a lawyer here in the United States. It's not how it works, right? So he's Uber driving and working at a restaurant and working his butt off. Literally, that's all the guy does, right? And he sang the praises of being in the U.S. And I'm going to tell you, I find it interesting because, you know, the conversation that we are having right now in our country is a constant, I don't even want to say 50-50 because that's not even accurate, right? It's a constant split of one group saying one thing and another group saying another and everybody disagreeing and refusing to find any space in the middle. Refusing to find any space in the middle. Yet there are these people who are busting their ass, right? Fleeing countries that are absolutely in disarray, trying to do better for their families. And there is no blaming, no complaining, no excuses coming out of them. Boy, they're showing up in all the ways they know how to show up right now to do the very best they can. Now, do you think that being an Uber driver is that guy's best scenario? Hell no. He was a lawyer, right? He was a successful lawyer in another country. Being an Uber driver is probably his bottom of the barrel right now. But you know what? He's freaking grateful to be doing it because he's trying to get his family out of there. And it's giving him a means. It's giving him a way, right? We've got to start looking at life from perspective of what can we do? How can we show up to better our lives? If you're somebody who's already here, right, and you have tremendous opportunities at your feet, I don't know, there are plenty of people who are going to say not everybody has the same opportunities. Okay. Fair. Take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you right now. Which ones are those? Where can you go track those down? What doors can you kick down to make that happen? And I'm going to tell you, again, it starts with acceptance, right? It starts with, I accepted my life as it is, and I am unhappy with it, and this is just how it is. When you commit to that, you've given up. You've turned it in, right? And I don't know about you, but I find that unacceptable at this point in my life. I feel like I have too many responsibilities, too many people who rely on me. And I also feel like there's a message that I got to get out. And that message is we cannot give up, right? We cannot just turn it over and call it a day. We've got to keep pressing ourselves, keep pushing ourselves to be better, do more. Now, I'm not saying that means say yes to everything, right? But what you do say yes to, be the best at, be amazing at. Show up in all the ways you could show up. Be a leader in that area, in that space. If you're a mom, be a leader of a mom, right? If you're a teacher, man, you got to show up and believe in those kids every single day. If you're a coach, right, you got to show up and instill belief in places where belief does not exist, where belief has turned into acceptance. You got to do whatever it is that you do and do it to the best of your possible abilities. And you have to decide what you are not willing to accept anymore. What are you not willing to accept anymore? If you're in a bad relationship because you may have gotten out of a divorce and jumped into the next relationship and that relationship is tanking horribly, guess what? You didn't heal. You didn't take time to heal. Maybe you should take time to heal. Maybe you should hit a girl up. You know what I'm saying? And we should spend some time talking about that and working through some of those healing necessities, right? Because you can accept who you were and what clearly didn't work the first time and call that the norm. But again, normal is gross. And do you really want a normal relationship? Especially when they end at a 60% rate? Like, nobody wants that, right? If you want something better, you got to do better. You got to be better. Which means you need to spend some time working on you before you jump into that next relationship. And then you got to have really clear perspectives of what it is that you're trying to create in that next relationship. Because if you really want to create something magical and amazing and wonderful and something that lasts, that involves you leveling up. And I think too many people have decided that they don't have to level up, or that they shouldn't level up, or that they can't level up. And that's just not true. It takes identifying one thing that you can't stand, right? One thing that you cannot stand, that you are so frustrated about in your life right now. Maybe it's your finances. Maybe it's your health. One area of your life that you are so beyond disgusted with that it would motivate you enough to start taking action on it. To set a big, juicy, sexy goal for that particular thing, and then to go after it with all of the fire and enthusiasm you possess in your soul in order to be the master of your fate. We got to start leveling up, man. We've got to. I'm telling you, this is one of those things that I think about constantly, because I work with people in tough moments, right? They're in tough moments. They don't know how to see the world differently because it's the way they've always seen the world. They don't know how to question their own belief system because it's the beliefs that were instilled in them when they were 5, 6, 7, 8, and they've never checked that. They never said, well, wait a second. Somewhere along the way, Miss so-and-so told me that I was stupid. And I've lived my entire life convinced that I was stupid. And that has made me play small and show up small in all the places that I should have shown up like a freaking rock star. And I think we've got to get to that place, guys. And I know some of you are like, isn't this a divorce podcast? You're right, it is. But part of coming out of divorce, right, is deciding that you are never going to accept that again. You are never going to accept that level of pain and that level of failure without having to learn something freaking important out of it. And I'm going to tell you, I learned a lot. That's why I chose to be a divorce coach, right? Because I learned so much that I was like, I need to teach people how to do this so that they don't hurt so badly, right? Shouldn't we all be looking for that opportunity? Shouldn't we all be looking for the place where it's our secret genius, right? It is our secret space of genius, right? We should all be looking for that place and then trying to help the people around us in that area who need it. If you are a freaking G at powerlifting, you should be teaching the people around you how to get buff as hell, right? If you're, a ridiculous, knitter or crocheter or underwater basket weaver, right? Isn't it our responsibility and our duty to help other people be good at those things? To share our gift with the world? I'm just saying, guys, we got to stop accepting normal, average, mediocre, basic, boring, miserable. I know some of you are like, Kayla, I'm going through a major health crisis right now. I'm going through some crazy stuff right now you can't even comprehend. I hear you. I just talked to a woman who is a quadriplegic, literally 10 minutes ago. Quadriplegic. She was in a car accident that broke her neck 32 years ago. As a quadriplegic. Now, you understand that that takes some crazy, like, perseverance, some crazy resilience to overcome such an insane scenario and then to do it by yourself. Some people are going through cancer treatments right now. Some people are finding out hard news about their children. Some people are losing their best friend or their mom or their dad today. And we owe it to the world to not be normal. We owe it to the world to show up for those people. We owe it to ourselves to be the most magical. Bring in, an in-home nurse and somebody can take care of me and literally lose any dignity, right? She could have totally done that, but she refuses to. There's a guy who won the college wrestling championship with no arms and no legs. Now, I know you're sitting there like these are insane scenarios. You're right, they are. And those people rose up in the worst scenarios, in the worst scenarios, in the worst possible way. That I mean, I don't even know how to put that into words, right? And these people keep showing up for themselves. They keep demanding more of themselves. When anyone else would have happily looked at them and said, hey, it's okay. If you want to step back, if you want to accept that this is your life, if you want to not try nearly as hard as you're trying, that would be totally okay. But they don't, right? And I don't know about you guys, but I go and I find these stories on purpose because I think too often we sit back and we chill. We Netflix and chill. We Facebook and chill, right? We Insta and chill. And we're letting those 15,000 days just blow by. And we're not actually going after our dream. We don't have to do that, guys. We don't have to do that. You can fight till the day you die for your dream. Every single day. Don't be normal. Don't settle for unhealthy, broke, miserable, terrible relationship. No savings, no retirement. They say the average American right now does not have enough money in retirement to actually survive their retirement. And if they had some sort of catastrophic illness, which is a thing that happens when you're older, right? And had to be put on long-term care, they would not be able to financially afford it. And that burden would ultimately fall to their children or their family right? Whoever is ultimately outliving them, or the state, if there's no family there. I don't know about you, but that's terrible. We have to do better. We have to set higher standards for ourselves. And this is 100% true when you're going through a divorce. This is 100% true when you're divorcing your 9 to 5. This is 100% true when you're divorcing that bad relationship that you've been in for way too many years, but you don't really want to let go of it because it's at least comfortable, and then you don't have to feel lonely, and you at least get a little validation. Stop settling. Stop settling for less, right? Because again, you, yourself, you as an individual deserve the best that you can give you. And so I would encourage you to look at your life and decide right now, what is the best that I can give me? Is the best that I can give me 10 minutes of working out today? Or 10 minutes of dancing my ass off? Or singing my ass off in the shower? Is the best that I can give myself today showing up, going for a walk around the neighborhood? Is the best that I can give myself refusing to accept my financial situation as final and deciding that I'm going to pick up extra jobs. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start a side hustle. I'm going to figure out how to get out of this debt. What's the best that you can do right now? And then start taking action towards it. Look, people are doing it with no arms and no legs. People are becoming wrestling champions. People are becoming fitness models. I mean, it's crazy. You don't have to look far to find motivation and inspiration in this area. You don't have to look that far to find people who are doing so much with so little. We owe it to ourselves and to the world to not settle, to not decide with our arms and our legs and our total capacity to do so many things, to give up our health, to forfeit our future, to forfeit our retirement, to forfeit our legacy, to forfeit our dream. Whew, I'm feeling spicy today, y'all. It's so true, though. It's so true. And maybe you didn't grow up believing that you were capable of anything. Maybe you grew up believing that you weren't good enough or smart enough or strong enough or brave enough or whatever, beautiful enough, right? I'm going to tell you, I didn't realize that I was pretty, like real talk. And this is not me being vain, okay? Because I promise you, I'm like the most low maintenance woman on the planet, right? But I didn't realize that I was even sort of attractive until I was 30. 30, guys, 30, okay? That means I gave up the years when I had a six-pack, convinced that I was, fat and unattractive and kind of looked like a boy, right? Which is, on some levels, I was never fat, okay? Like, I had abs and I was convinced I was fat, right? Like, that's some crazy shit, guys. That's some crazy stuff, right? And we do that to ourselves. We convince ourselves that we are not enough in all the ways, right? We're not smart enough. I think I said that twice. Smart enough, strong enough, beautiful enough, etc. And it's all crap. It's all BS beliefs that we picked up somewhere along the way and we decided were true. And if you want to learn how to break those beliefs, holler at me. Let's do a strategy session because I can teach you how to do that. I can teach you how to shut that voice down in your head so that you don't have to hear that anymore. So that you don't have to be held back by that. So that you don't have to keep playing small because you don't have to play small, to be clear. You don't have to play small. You can show up in big ways in your life and completely change the trajectory of your life. You can, as one of my friends says, what would you do if he says, what would you do if your annual income became your quarterly income? And most of us are like, that's a lot, right? And then he'll say, what if your annual income became your monthly income? He asked me that question. I was like, I would shit myself, right? Because we don't believe it's a possibility. But what if we started to change our beliefs? What if we started to look around and go, no, literally anything and everything is a possibility. I just have to decide to go after it. I just have to decide to go after the relationship I want. I just have to decide to go after my financial dreams. I just have to decide. and then take massive action. Stop accepting and settling and start deciding and then taking action. Right? When we can do that, we change the game. We change the game. Deciding to go to the gym or deciding to hit that first push-up today is the first step. Deciding to get your green bean cans out, get that upper body work in, I'm just saying, you decide. And it doesn't have to be glorious and grand and beautiful, and you don't have to post it on Facebook and Instagram so you can prove to anybody else. The only person you have to prove to is you. You're the only person you have to prove to, right? And so you got to show up and decide and then take action. Stop settling. Normal is gross. Normal is gross. Normal is miserable. And think about it. Think about all the people you know who have settled, who have the mentality of settling. Do you want to spend time with those people? If you're somebody who's trying to get better at anything and you have to listen to somebody all the time give you unsolicited advice and they're that person who settled, it's like their energy drains the crap out of you, right? Man, I'm so spicy today. Anyway, guys, be the master of your own fate. Decide today. Decide. What is it that you want? Where is it that you are going? What is the clear trajectory to get there? And if you need some help, if you need a person to sit down and strategize with you on that, again, hit me up. DM me on Instagram. DM me strategy. We will jump on a call. You have more in you. We all do. Even the best of the best in the world have more in them. Grant Cardone, who has made $1 bajillion, I don't even know how much money the guy is worth at this point. He literally says, I haven't reached my full potential yet. I don't even know what it is yet. He says that. This guy has made so much money in a variety of industries, and he literally says, I haven't capped my potential yet. I don't know what it is. I'm still looking. We should all be in pursuit on that level. And if we were, imagine what we could do. Imagine the crap that we could change for people. Imagine how we could show up and take care of the world. When you're making that much money, it's no big deal to hand over a crazy amount of money to a charity. It's no big deal to show up in a battered, torn country and take care of people, right? It's no big deal. We have to make decisions, guys, and stop settling. Stop settling. Some of you are coming out of your divorce and you're settling right now. Looks a lot like I'm always going to be in this pain. I'm never going to recover from this. And telling yourself those stories. And if you are, hit me up. Been there, done that. Burn that t-shirt. We can do better. If you need a coach, holler at me. I'm a divorce coach, but I'm going to tell you I can teach you how to divorce just about anything. Bad relationship, a crappy job. I can teach you how to divorce just about anything. If you need to divorce negative beliefs about yourself, reach out to me because I can help you do that too. With that being said, guys, I will be back later this week. You have a beautiful week and I will see you soon.